have been losing the techie battle with this one. Y'all, I have so many ideas. I've really had to control myself. This pink floral, it's got little bitty green leaves in there, and so I put the matching green. I want to provide the easiest path for them. If you want to continue sewing, like, you need to learn how to do this. I felt really, really silly in my bowl cozy tutorial after the fact. I think we as creatives, when we get really excited about things, we become fixated on it a little bit, prioritize what needs to and has to be done now. Look what else I found that I forgot about. Hi friends, I'm Brittany, the mama maker behind Ginger Patch Designs, and if you do follow me on Instagram, you know that I have been working on my first paid pattern. I have several free patterns out on my YouTube channel. I'll make sure to link those playlists down in the description for you below. But as a former teacher, it's really been on my mind the last literally like half the year about doing beginner tutorials, beginner sewing patterns, like literally holding your hand step by step, do exactly these things to get a beautiful product. And so I decided to just go for it, and I decided to go big or go home with my first pattern, which is my Charlotte tote bag pattern. And it is finished. It took me about a week to I made another one in the wedding ring. This is Hometown Wedding Ring by, I think it's Lori Holt. I know it's Riley Blake, but I think it's from the Lori Holt. And I'm going to be honest with you, I chose this fabric because pictures. I mean, very photogenic, right? And so I went with the traditional Charlotte style, which is with the regular size handles and just more of a symmetrical, wide and tall body, whereas the first Charlotte totes I were making had extra long handles. These look super, super long, but they are a preference. Some people were asking for longer handles, and so this is a longer handled, like taller, skinnier bag, which is also beautiful, but I think people overall prefer like the wider anything tote. Like, it can just serve so many functions, right? So when I was remaking one of these, the reason it took so long is because I guess there's so many steps involved that I've been sewing for so long. Like, I don't realize just how involved a project like this is until I'm looking at it through the lens of making notes of every single step. And sometimes one particular step has like 2, 3, 4 parts to it, right? And so something that I was noticing, and this is my teacher brain, and I get kind of excited talking about it, so please forgive me if I'm super chatty. I'll come across something and I don't want to assume that they know how to do it. Like, if someone buys the pattern that they've already kind of been sewing before, great, they can just skip through these parts that I go into more depth in. But for example, cotton thread versus polyester thread, or the multiple different ways that you can create quilting lines depending on what tools they may have, because I imagine that most people have like a beginner machine. They don't have a laser light. They might not have a quilting bar. Some machines come with them, some don't, you know, so just things like that. And then like how to actually quilt the lines, like looking at your measuring tool or line versus, you know, looking at the needle and the presser foot, things like that, that has just set my brain into what I have been trying to hone in and focus on when I was developing the pattern was, what do they need to know to learn the process without getting overwhelmed? I don't want to overwhelm them. I don't want them to just hang it up, you know. I want to provide the easiest path for them to create whatever the pattern is, whether it's this one or future ones. But I also want to teach them, like, even if it's kind of a hard step, like if you want to continue sewing, like you need to learn how to do this, if that makes sense. So with that, the pattern itself is finished, and I am losing the techie battle trying to make this super pretty and minimalist, but pretty. I took a bajillion pictures, and so not only will there be a video tutorial if someone's like kind of already experienced and they just want to glaze through the actual written pattern or digital pattern, there's a bunch of pictures on there. It's like 17 or 18 pages, and I'm just struggling getting the PDFs to PDF. So here in a minute, I'm going to take a break from pattern things and work on my tutorial. So I'm working on this holiday playlist on my YouTube channel, and y'all, I have so many ideas. I've really had to control myself because these are supposed to be quick. My very first sewing playlist, I wanted them to be quick makes, mostly easy makes, etc. But just know the ideas I have in my head, they are coming when I have time. So here in just a minute, I'm going to film the corner bookmarks tutorial. I was originally just going to do the first one, and y'all, this has been on my Notion planner for like a year to make these, just like whenever I got to it. But I've seen other styles on Pinterest and whatnot, so I'm actually going to do 4 different corner bookmarks. This is the most traditional, where it's just sewn in edges, and here's the flap. This is a phenomenal scrap buster. I mean, it's literally like 4x4 inch little squares, you know. But my favorite that I saw recently was this variation where it's the raw edge and there's actually batting inside. And then these are not as much of a favorite for me. This is just like with a little tabby thing, more of a traditional style. And then this one, more traditional size, but with the raw edge. And that's some of that scrap wedding ring fabric. I thought it was so cute. If you've been following me for a while, you probably know that my recent content has not been what I normally do, like studio vlogs or how I make my printables or how I do packaging or whatever. And I'm not gonna like stop making those types of videos. That's just not what my focus has been. And honestly, there haven't been any like studio vlog type of things to film. I've been coming in here, filming tutorials, and then working on the pattern, and that's been the focus. And so there's going to be some shifting things, but just know that there's still going to be some market vlogs coming up, and some studio type vlogs like this one. I really wanted to do these tutorials and these freebie patterns for the holidays. And it's also allowing me to practice a lot of things on the back end, like with automations and links and stuff that I will need to learn to get the blog side of the website going after the first of the year. So the shift in my content has been serving multiple purposes. I'm also hoping to squeeze in this tutorial today. I might be able to start it today and finish it tomorrow. This is like the pouch that has sold the best for me. It's just a flat pouch, multi-purpose, so many different things. But I think the bow is a really nice touch. And I think the quality of the zipper that I use is also a really nice touch. I have a confession to make. I plan all of my filming around my nails. Like I just did my nails. And so like when I'm doing close-ups while I'm filming, I don't want witchy nails. I want like pretty nails. And so I will try to film as much close-up stuff as I can when my nails are fresh. So it is the day after I sent the pattern out to all of my testers, and so far only one oopsie has been found, so I'm really encouraged by that. I was less worried about little oopsies because like that is really in my nature to make like silly little mistakes, but more like if they actually enjoyed making the pattern, if it was actually feasible for beginners. I do have one person that has sewing skills, like they've sewn things before, but they are still very essentially a beginner. And so I'm really curious how hers is going to turn out. And so now I can shift my focus while I'm waiting on pattern testers to do their thing. I can shift my focus to some other things. Like I actually have a market this weekend, and I thought I had more of the more recent things finished, but I do not. I'm working on some bowl cozies. I only had 3 done, the ones that I did for the tutorials. So I'm working on getting some of these done. Again, I don't know if they'll sell a whole lot, but I do want to have some. And I wanted to show you what I did with the bowl cozies that I messed up. I felt really silly in my bowl cozy tutorial after the fact because thankfully I did the tutorial with cotton, but I can't remember if it was on social media or I can't remember what video it was, but I had put some polyester. I was like prepping polyester batting to put on the back. Unbeknownst to me, people actually put these things in the microwave. That was a learning experience. So I had this whole stack that I had already stitched, and I thought, oh man, some of this fabric is so pretty and it's vintage and I don't want to throw it away. My favorite that I didn't want to throw away was this purple, this plum purple that I had made some bookmarks with. So what I did was I basically just cut these open and cut all the darts off, and I ended up with these squares. Okay, and the backs are still on them, but they did have a stitch through them. I actually used one of these in the fabric bookmark tutorial. So this is a repurposed, it was going to be a bowl cozy and I repurposed it. This is a raw edge corner bookmark. Sorry, that was my phone. The only thing was, you know, I already had the stitching on there. So I went ahead and finished the X, like I added another stitch. So there's just some extra stitching on this side, and then I cut out another square here and added a flap, did the raw edge. So how I did it on as far as the back, the batting, I just carefully, because there was only one stitch, I just carefully peeled it back and I cut off around the edge so that there's the gap. There were just a few pieces that for some reason, like the X was through both sides, and I just chucked those. But I was able to salvage a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to repurpose those for this weekend's market and just save these for, you know, they're going to go into the abyss that is the closet. I'm just going to cut off some of these darts while I'm giving you some updates. So now that the pattern is out to testers, I'm shifting my focus to market this weekend, but more importantly, the keychain wallet, the quilted keychain wallet kits that I mentioned over on my Instagram, and then I put it out here on my YouTube. And another thing that I'm not really focusing on, but it's just in the back of my mind because it's not going to take much effort, is I'm running this huge Black Friday sale, not just because it's Black Friday, it just works out for me that people are in the mood to shop around that time. I am going to be cleaning house. I'm getting rid of a lot of products that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're beautiful. I don't want to say I'm discontinuing them, but they just need to go for now. I'm shifting a lot of things and I just need to clear out some inventory. So with that said, I was thinking about doing, have you seen this mystery bag trend? Like that, I see it in the crochet community because I'm in some crochet groups online and they do these mystery bags, and everybody says, as far as crochet things, they like are wildly successful. They're like little $10, $15. I don't think they're very high dollar. I don't know if they do $20 one, little mystery bags. And so I thought about doing that to like clean up some of this stock. Like a little $10 mystery bag could be like a fabric bookmark. Where are they at? Like a little fabric bookmark. And then I was making some, where's the matching one? Like a matching keychain, and then like some bookish stickers to go with it, and that could be like a $10 bag. I actually messed up when I put my little survey out there about the quilted keychain wallet and key fob. Like, would the kits be like a thing? Is that something that anyone would be interested in, kind of thing? Because you have to have the pliers to do the key fob. Like, there is an attachment I just learned that you can put on your rivet press to do these. Had no idea that existed. I will be ordering that because I have a rivet press. But you have to have the plier things to put these on. And so that won't be these will not be part of the kits. I know there's other ways that you can make the key fobs. I don't like them. I don't like them. The only other way that I even remotely like requires a rivet, which requires tools that someone who's buying a kit is not going to have or buy, you know. Biscuit, you are getting into everything. Got several bowl cozies finished. Let me show you what I've got. So I did 3 sizes just for markets, even though I think the template that I made, or the graphic that I made, has 4 sizes. I can't remember, but I'm just taking 3 to markets. And this was part of the vintage fabric haul. And there was the same amount of each fabric cut. It was like half a yard. And so I think the lady had like intended to like make a quilt with it, but I love this chocolate brown floral. And then these were also matching. And then the other, okay, maybe that's the only 4 I put together. But here's the biggest size that I made for like a giant popcorn bowl or something. This is the, I would say like cereal bowl size. And then the regular size, the one that I use all the time myself at home, is just this one. So that's like the browns that I used brown cotton thread with. And then these are some of the more bright and cheery ones. I really love this blue. And then we've got like a gray floral with a checker. That's like a, almost like a mauve-y purple checkered. And then this pink floral, where it's got little bitty green leaves in there. And so I put the matching green on the background. And then just like different sizes. I have to snip the thread. So if you saw threads, they're not finished. I finished sewing all of the raw edge bookmarks, but they're in my tub right here because I can snip all of these edges with my pinking shears out in the living room later this evening. I am not exactly like in a big rush to get this keychain, quilted keychain wallet kit out. That's a mouthful, but I would like to take some to this really big event that I have in November. It is November, Brittany. In a few weeks, I have a really large event. So I think I could definitely get some kits put together by then. I want to buy these like little thin boxes that open like this. They're like shipping boxes, but they're really small because the materials themselves are not very big. And I need to make some graphics to go with it, like to put the label on the outside. And so my process, new pattern designer over here, this is my process. So I will make a thing start to finish, like when I did the Charlotte tote bag. I didn't film anything. I just made the bag start to finish, and literally every little step along the way, I was taking pictures and then typing it up as I went. And it took me several days to do that for one bag. Not that I was working on it all day long, because I can't do that. So I went ahead and cut all the pieces to start that process for a keychain wallet. Like I just cut out all the pieces, I took a picture, and I went ahead and drafted a pattern just based on the keychain wallet tutorial that I already have posted on my channel. But that really wasn't, like, to me, a beginner tutorial, because it was more like a sew this thing with me. So I took some notes on some things I would definitely do differently for strictly a beginner pattern, less chatty, just focused on how to sew the thing. So over on my Instagram, I had posted a while back about, you know, which pattern would you like to see if I did keychain wallet kits, and the purple one won out. So that's the one I'm going to start with. It will have, this will be the exterior, and then I just went with a solid interior that looks really, really nice. And then I did cut out the bow template. So here's the bow template, right, that I cut out. And then I did cut these out by hand. I can cut these on my Cricut. Like I can just put a bunch of I used Canva to get this over to my Cricut, and use the rotary blade to cut out a bunch of these for me, which is what I was gonna do today. But for whatever reason, the blade just was not working properly, and I don't have the energy to fool with it today. But I can figure that out later to, like, if I'm like mass making a bunch of kits, that will save me like a lot of manual cutting time, and they'll be all nice and even. I am going to work on that in just a minute while my daughter's eating her snack, but I needed your opinion on something. I have several tubs of vintage fabric. If you've been here a long time, you know I had a few vintage fabric hauls way back when, and I went to find this particular panel for a project that's coming up as soon as I can get to it, right? But I forgot that I had these as well. These are hand quilted panels, but they're old. These are so old. I would have to hand wash these probably, but they all have names stitched into them, like by hand. They all have names. So they're these really cool old, like they just have that texture. They're so cool. Oh, I love this one. I have zero desire to actually like put it together into a quilt. But what do I do with it? It's so cool, but there's names inside of them. Like, I'm not worried about someone seeing their name, because if I had to guess, a lot of these people are no longer with us. But I don't know what to do with them. They're so cool and so old and so pretty. Ooh, look at this green one. I don't know what to do with them. Tell me your ideas down in the comments, because I'm not throwing them away. But I have zero ideas. Look what else I found that I forgot about. I think they're supposed to be plushies, because it actually has like sewing directions on the side of it. I'm not making a plushie with it. I will be making something applique with this bad boy. Good morning, friends. It is the day after, 2 days after a big market I had this past weekend. It went really well. It was really fun and lighthearted, but it really kind of made me realize it's crunch time. Like, I know it's crunch time, but in just over a week, I have to set up for my biggest event of the year. And so next week is pretty much, in my mind, like a wash as far as creating anything. I'll be organizing, finalizing inventory, and then actually setting up for the event. And so because of that, I've had to put the brakes on all the pattern things. And so as far as the Charlotte tote, I mean, it's with the testers right now, and I'm starting to get feedback back from 2 testers so far. And so I've been really, really encouraged and excited about that. But I've had to, like, I think we as creatives, when we get really excited about things, we become fixated on it a little bit. And I have to remind myself to prioritize what needs to and has to be done now, and then just kind of catalog what I want to do. And it doesn't mean that it's not something that's not beneficial for my business. Like, the patterns are going to be beneficial for my business, but like, that needs to be put on the back burner for now, while it's out with testers until holiday season is over. The pattern will not be coming out before the holidays. I just don't think that's a good idea. Like, we're busy. Y'all, we're busy. We ain't got time for that right now. Like, we will have time for all the crafty, trying new things after Christmas is over. So this morning I've been making up some more bowl covers, because those were the #1 seller of all the sewing things. I expected to sell some, but not like a lot. I didn't sell out, but I sold way more than I thought I would. So I'm making up some more of those. And then I'm running a really huge Black Friday sale right towards the end of, it actually starts on the day that I'm at my biggest market. Like, the busiest day of that market is the day that the Black Friday sale starts. If you're not on the email list, you're gonna miss all the reminders. I'm not trying to like make up a bunch of stock just for the sale. I'm trying to get rid of things for the sale, but I also want to have a good amount. And so I forgot about all these pre-cuts for the jumbo boxy bow bags. And so I am probably not going to get all of these done in a week, but I'm going to try to get as many finished as I can for both the market next weekend and the huge Black Friday sale that's going to be going on for a whole week, because I know that, you know, people get paid at different times or whatever. And so I want to give people time to shop the sale. Speaking of the sale, so this morning I went ahead and kind of went through the inventory on my website just to make sure everything was accurate, because I do in stock, like ready to ship item inventory. I do ready to ship inventory only. I am going to go ahead and add all of these pre-cuts on there. Even though they're not made yet, they're going to be. I have all the materials to make them. I just want to make sure they're already in there and I don't forget to like update it in all the crazy. And I think I'm going to add some of my like best-selling crochet things in the sale. Like they're not actually visible on the website anymore right now. In just a minute, I'm going to count up like how many I actually have. But here are all the kitty like color combos that I have. And these are by far the best seller at markets for probably 4 years. My best sellers were these little bitty turtles, and I still have them, but they're kind of waning down because I do have a lot of the same shoppers every year. And so I try to do new stuff. And so as they phase out, like this year, I'm probably going to phase out turtles and chickens because I've done those for several years, and when they're gone, they're gone. So I'm not going to put those in the sale, but I am going to put the kitties. Here's the gray ones, and they have the little booties on the back. I think those are the funnest thing. And I really think the pink nose like makes it. And then here's like a sort of more realistic coloring. This one is super soft. This is all blanket yarn if you're curious. And I believe the pattern, if you are a crochet person, I think are Annie Caraway art was the pattern. And then I really like the white one. I think it pops so nicely. I usually sell these for $14, but in the sale, you can get it for like way less than that if you need like a quick stocking stuffer or gifts for the grandkids, like whatever. As far as the pattern, like the main thing my testers are seeing with the pattern is formatting, which I honestly expected, because it's very different, like being able to follow a pattern and know how to sew something, and actually creating a pattern, especially a pattern targeted for beginners. Like the wording really matters, and like where you place things in the pattern is very important, so we don't confuse them. Really excited and appreciative of all the feedback so far. I have 3 hours before I have to go pick up my daughter, and so I'm just gonna sew. I'm gonna be sewing, quilting all of these things. I'm not going to work on the bowl covers. The bowl covers are largely something I can work on out at the couch. The Cricut can be going with the extra stickers and bookmarks while I'm doing this, and so it's just gonna be very noisy in here. So friends, I think I'm gonna end this video here. Don't forget to go sign up on the email list so you don't miss all the exclusive deals that are gonna be happening the rest of the year, and then some giveaways I'm gonna be doing with the new paid patterns in January. If you will just like this video and subscribe, friends, and I will see you very soon for next week's multi-day market vlog. Bye, friends.